Jeremy Pruitt's post-practice press conference. Coach will start us off with a quick opening statement. Please raise your hands for questions. There are no microphones, so please speak loudly.
You know, I made a statement earlier in the year that it didn't get hot in Knoxville. It got hot the last 2 days. So it was good for us getting ready for this weekend. You know, I think our players have lots of energy out there. It's good to see. I know they're excited about playing. You know, I've talked about Florida a lot, about how good a football team that they have, how much respect we have for Coach Mullen and his program and what they've done. And you know, the thing that impresses me the most about these guys is they've been in 2 really close games. Probably had just as good a chance to lose the games as they did to win them, but they found a way to win the games, and that's a mark of a team that has character, toughness, and knows how to finish. So, you know, we're focused on the things that we can control, which is us, and, you know, we feel like our coaches have a really good game plan. Our guys have worked hard so far this week. We got to finish up the week and, you know, get ready for this weekend. So with that, I'll take any questions.
David?
Jerry, how is the Jared that you've seen in practice compared to the Jared that you've seen in games, 2 games this year?
You know, there's no doubt. You know, the first 2 games, Jared didn't play as good as he's capable of playing. You know, I've seen him at his best, and when he's on, he's pretty good. Okay. You know, there's been times probably in his career that, you know, maybe based off some things around him, maybe didn't have as good an opportunity to be at his best all the time, whether it was protection or whatever, maybe just the scoreboard in itself, you know. But I do feel like that our offensive line is much improved. Have given him a pretty nice pocket this year, giving him opportunity. We've got good skilled players around him. And he's like everybody else. I mean, he's working hard to be at his best for every Saturday, and he'll continue to do that.
Austin?
Coach, when we were out there today, Bryce was like he was going through stuff with kind of the receiving ones. Just kind of, where was he at when y'all been able to do some live work? Do you feel like there's much rust there through the first couple of weeks back in practice?
Yeah, I mean, he's been participating. It's one of the things you can see. You know, guys that don't participate in fall camp, whether it's injury and then they have to play early in the season, they don't play as well, right? So I felt like, you know, Trayvon Flowers missed a couple of tackles in the first game. As a guy that I felt like all along could be one of the better players on our football team. He was injured in fall camp, missed a lot of practice time, but I see a guy coming back that's performing better. You know, the same thing with Bryce. I mean, he's missed a lot of time here in the last few weeks, so you know, he's got to kind of earn his way back out there.
Jesse?
Jeremy, what have you seen now that you had a full game and then a full week of practice, or 3 practices thus far, from K-Run and Darnell kind of working together on that right side the last couple of weeks?
Well, you know, neither guy has a whole lot of experience. You know, I think both guys are extremely talented. You know, if they know what they're doing, okay, then they have a chance to have success, okay, and that's no knock on their ability to learn. It's Darnell's played guard for 3 practices, and now this will be 5 this week, and K-Ron likewise has moved to right tackle. But it gives us a chance to put those 2 guys side by side, which we think gives us the best chance to have success offensively, and when they get it right, they do a pretty good job at it.
Eric and then Blake.
Coach, last week you said Carlton Wilson maybe was about a week away. How was he been in practice this week, and how do you plan to use him in your offense when he is back?
Well, here's another guy that has really started practicing kind of full go a couple of weeks ago. And as a running back, you want a guy to do that, to take some licks a little bit. You don't want to run a guy out there that's not had any contact with a ball in his hand. So, you know, last year Carlin was a pretty good special teams player for us. We moved him back to offense the latter half of the year. You know, he's a guy that I think has some really good one-step quickness and can get vertical on you and hit some seams. So he's back out there, and he should be able to play this week.
Blake and then Rob.
Jeremy, you mentioned Florida has
Well, I think it starts with having really competitive practices, having winners and losers, right? And there's I guess if you win, you get something for it. You lose, there's a little pride thing there, which is something I think that you should do in every drill. It's good when you can keep score. When you're playing games like that, there's adversity that presents itself. There's lots of pressure. And the more times you're in positions like that, some of it is by maybe the group that you practice against every day. If you have lots of competition on offense and defense or within your position group, there's constant pressure, right? So you're kind of built for it, it gets you ready for it, for what you're going to see when you get in one of those games. I think that has a lot to do with it. If you have a really competitive team, you have a deep team, and when it gets tight, sometimes that's when you want the best out of each and every person.
Rob and then Wes.
Coach, you've got, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 freshmen that are playing that probably going to play prominent roles for you in the first SEC road game. Anything special to try and coach them up, get them ready for what they're going to see this weekend?
No, I mean it's the same game that they've played growing up, right? I mean, obviously the other team's screaming for, the other crowd's screaming for the other team. You're traveling. The travel part of it's a little different for them, but it's different now than it was 25 years ago. You got these high school teams that are traveling all over the country to play in these televised games, so it's probably much easier. I remember the first time I ever got on a plane. I'd never been on a plane before until I went to college. First flight was to Hawaii, right? So that was a culture shock for me. But I don't think it's as much now in this day and time for these guys.
Wes and then Patrick and Steve.
A couple things. One, will Bryce Thompson and Jeremy Banks travel and be able to play, or be available to play Saturday? And also, with Josh Palmer, he's a guy who had so many big splash plays last season. Have y'all tried to get him more of those, and it just hasn't worked out so far this season?
With Josh Palmer, he's a guy that created some really big plays for us last year. It probably at that point in time last year, he probably had the freshest legs. If you remember, Juwan was coming off an injury, but he's a guy that we've got to use. I think he's got really good talent. Got to find a way to get him the ball. The other guys, they're going to travel.
Steve and Patrick.
You had mentioned having competition with those games. What are some examples like what you put at stake in those types of things? Is that just something you do during preseason camp or throughout the season as well?
No, we do. We start practice usually off every day with some kind of competition drill, whether it's one-on-ones or vol drill or something. We do something to start practice off. Might be turnover circuit, keep score. And we keep score during periods, just to create winners and losers and try to create some competition.
Patrick and Austin and David.
Jeremy, you said a few weeks ago that Morris and Roush and Rob Harrison to play more outside linebacker. They obviously played a lot of Saturday. What do you kind of see from them? Are they kind of developing as you guys kind of want them to, and kind of what are their strengths?
These are two young men that are really smart. Both of them work hard out there at practice, got really good motors. They have potential to be really good players. Roman played nose guard in high school, so now he's playing on the edge. He's never dropped in coverage. Most of the time he rushed from the interior, he never rushed on the edge. So there's lots of multiples that he's learning. Q was really a high school running back. He didn't play much defense in high school. So both of these guys are, you really have to start from ground zero with both of them. And they're both doing a really nice job. For guys that really have played the position only through, fall camp until now, they're going to make mistakes. But one thing I like about them is they make a lot of mistakes. I don't like the fact they make a lot of mistakes. I like the fact that they're going full speed and have really good motors all the time, So they're going to continue to improve and get better. They got really good toughness about them. They like to compete. which is important.
Last couple, Austin and David.
Coach, to piggyback for talk, do you feel like that sometimes that's an advantage for all the talk and the inexperience? You know, some of those older guys had the, Del Mario 2 years ago. Some of those guys were on the team 4 years ago that had the 4th and 13 games. They don't have those scars. Do you think that youth sometimes helps in this situation because they don't know any better?
Are you talking about versus Florida?
Well, just going on the road in a hostile environment, just playing ball.
No, I mean, the past has no bearing on what's going to happen in the future, So, we got 60 minutes on Saturday to kind of write the chapter of that book there, and it'll be the people that's on the plane and on the bus, on the field, that will have an effect on the outcome of the game. So, nothing in the past will dictate the game.
David, last question.
Jeremy, how would you describe the impact of Rice's return?
Well, I mean, I don't know what the impact would be, David. I mean, guy's not done much in several weeks, right? So we're going to play these other guys, and one of these days, Bryce will be back in shape and be ready to play, But it's going to take a little time for that to happen.
Thank you, Coach.